Moving over to South Africa now, where voting is taking place in the 5th general election since the end of apartheid. More than around 25 million people are expected to be casting their ballots, and it's the first time that people born after the end of white rule will have a say. Let's go to Haru Mutasa. She's standing by for us in Bekkersdal. Haru, what's the mood there? Because there were some protests overnight, weren't there?
Yes, it was an interesting day. Bekkersdal is a small, poor township just outside Johannesburg. It's mainly comprised of mine workers and their families. They live in makeshift homes, don't have running water, electricity or decent accommodation. Now, people have been trickling in to vote throughout the day, some excited, some rather subdued. Everyone is very aware that there's lots of police and army in the area patrolling the township, just keeping an eye on things. And that's because there was trouble on Tuesday night.
After a night of protests in some parts of South Africa, security forces make sure they are clearly visible at polling stations on voting day. People in Bekkersdal burned down 3 polling stations on Tuesday night. They say they are tired of waiting for the government to provide basic services. Sihle Makizana is voting for the first time and hopes conditions in her community will change.
There's no electric, there's no water, we are going far for water. Crime, when you are asleep at night, someone go and rape sometimes, whatever, and don't do. Yes.
Soldiers have also been deployed. They will stay on high alert in areas they call hotspots. But their presence doesn't scare off those determined to vote, a right many people died for during apartheid.
Protests over a lack of basic services happen often here. Some people have told us they will continue burning and destroying public property until politicians deal with the unemployment and poverty.
20 years after apartheid ended, the poor are growing impatient.
And that is precisely what this government should not want, what it should be trying to counter by calming the mood and by assuring people that delivery will happen. And that's delivery not just of social services like health, education, sanitation, housing, etc., but also delivery of an economy that is growing, of jobs that were promised a long time ago.
People in Bekkersdal say being poor is hard. They want what many people who are well off take for granted. They hope their vote will make a difference.
So, Harry, it sounds like emotions have been running very high there. What chance of more protests?
Well, these protests happen a lot, often in this place. And when they do happen, sometimes this area becomes a no-go zone, not just for officials from the ruling party, the African National Congress, who people seem to be angry at, but also at journalists as well. When people here get angry, they really get angry. They burn tires on the road, they destroy public buildings. They say it's the only way that they can get attention from government officials. What some people have been telling us is that they do plan to carry on protesting. They say they'll do this at night, usually, because that's when they feel the police and the soldiers won't really be able to see them. I think the key thing people here realize that a lot of people are frustrated, and 20 years after the end of apartheid, a lot of people still feel that the government can still do more. They're tired of excuses that this is the legacy of apartheid. We inherited poverty from apartheid. They're saying government officials should actually try to do more to better the lives of everyone, not just a few individuals in the upmarket areas of South Africa.
Yeah, great, thanks Haru. Great to get an idea of what's going on across the country there. Good to see you in Bekkersdal.